Today's message from Audra Nichole and Kristen Ashley, who are both Science of Mind practitioners, was recorded December 30th, 2018, and it's titled The Light That Connects Us All, affirming I am one with the light of life. And today we welcome back the talent and voice of Gia Chambodi, who can be found on her Facebook page. You can come visit us on our website at seasidecenter.org, and you can join us in Encinitas, California on a Sunday sometime, where we always have great music, a spirited message, and a joyful, loving, vibrant community that await you.
Good morning, Seaside. Happy Sunday. Happy New Year's Eve. It is my honor to introduce our guest artist, and I just love when she's here. I hope you all feel the same way. She comes down to be with us from Los Angeles, and she is just a powerful voice, a force to be reckoned with when she's up here on stage and just sharing her gift with us. And I wanted to share real quick of a new project that she's working on. There was a band called Clover, and it was made up of John McPhee and from the Doobie Brothers and Huey Lewis, and Elvis Costello hired that band for his first album, and Gia's father was actually in the band, and so they've reunited, and now Gia is actually singing with them, and they released a new record. So it sounds like it's going to be an awesome project. I can't wait to see it. I'm actually going to steal this copy from her today. No, just kidding. But she's just so awesome, and so if you're moved by her music today, please see her after the service. She does have CDs, and just follow her and just see what she has coming up, because it sounds like it's amazing. So without further ado, please help me welcome Gia Chambodi.
Good morning. This song is about love. Love can be very delicate. So we have to treat it with care. Right? Guard it. Giving and receiving. Down on the pavement. The sun bakes in. Ooh, how summer can sparkle deep in my skin. Come on, 2 steps forward, ooh, 1 step back. There in the stillness, I find a needle in a haystack. Needle in a haystack. Wise men say you can't keep it till you give it away. Open your heart, let it all in. That's when you find that needle in a haystack. It's no secret. There's a thing I found. Ooh, but it's easy to lose if you don't stand your ground until the time is right. I'm gonna stay on track, 'cause there's a treasure I know. Ooh, oh, it's like a needle in a haystack. Needle in a haystack. Wise men say you can't keep it till you give it away. So open your heart, let it all in. That's when you find that needle in a haystack. Come on. It's a natural fact. Ooh, that's where it's at. Don't you know it's a natural fact? Ooh, that's where it's at. That's where it's at, yeah.
was that? I know. She sang that first service. I was like, yeah, we're grooving. I love it. So I get the pleasure now to introduce the very first of our two speakers. And this beautiful soul has blessed this community here at Seaside. You know her well. She is a practitioner here at Seaside. And as well as, I think she does a million jobs here, finance, operations, all kinds of good stuff. So she is deep into this movement. And she also has been part of the Next Gen community for 3 or 4 years now, going to retreats, being a leader, and really celebrating the growth and development of what does it mean to be a new thought from a 20 to 30 perspective, which is just absolutely magnificent. And it takes our movement into a whole new world of possibility. So with that, please join me in welcoming to the stage Audra Nichole.
Thank you so much, Reverend Kim Jara. Good morning, family. How are we doing today? I know how y'all are doing. I'm doing spectacular. This morning, a couple times you've heard them say Next Gen, you've heard them say retreat. What on earth are they talking about? I am a co-facilitator for what's called the Next Gen Retreat. It's a retreat that we host every summer. We've been doing for over 4 years now. And we host it in Northern California, in the middle of a redwood forest, my favorite little town called Cazadero, on top of a mountain at a Buddhist monastery retreat with no Wi-Fi. We go for 4 days. Approximately 35 Next Geners show up. Some of them kicking and screaming because their ministers sent them, because we asked their ministers to send us their leaders. So sometimes it's rough going into retreat. They don't want to come. Our very own cat, Cespedes, she was one. She kicked and screamed the whole way there. And then she got there, and it was such a treat. What is Next Gen? Next Gen is the movement in our movement. Next Gen is the next generation. They're emerging leaders. In the past, people have called them young adults. That's not a thing anymore. 18, 20, 21, sure. Those are young adults. But what we're talking about is emerging leaders. Now, emerging leaders, maybe they're not leading centers. Maybe they're not leading groups. But they're always leading their own lives. They're leading their own path. And they're powerful. And that's what Next Gen is. By popular demand, what we're doing this year is we're re-enlivening a beautiful 4-day meditation retreat that our beloved Reverend Linda Rapon hosted for many, many years out of Launching Pad in Berkeley. Launching Pad was one of the first formal movements for the Next Gen. It was a house for Next Gen to come, to create service, for Next Geners to live, to build community in their own beautiful ways. I'm honored to be in this movement at this time, to be a part of the Next Gen. One of my favorite parts about being a Next Gener is who we are. One of the things that we are is unapologetic. We're authentic. Sometimes we're raw, and sometimes we come across as entitled. Now, I'm not here to debate whether or not we're entitled. We can save that for a later day. But I am here to say that what we're not willing to do is settle. We're not willing to settle. We've watched our parents work so hard, tirelessly. Some of them at jobs they absolutely hate, but they did it for the family. And I am so grateful to my parents and all of the parents that I know that sacrificed so much for their children to live better lives. I'm not making that wrong. I'm so grateful. But this generation, as much as we saw the sacrifice and as much as we received so much privilege from all of that hard work, We were not blind to the pain of the sacrifice of living a life unloved, living a life working hard. We don't want to do that. We're not afraid of hard work. We bust our butts. This life is fast and hard and busy, and it might not look like it because maybe we're not digging ditches, but we're working hard, I promise you. And we are committed. We're committed to ourselves. We're committed to our families. We're committed to our communities. Next Gen is a beautiful community that's growing and growing every year. This year we now have 2 retreats, but it's all the same community expanding. When these emerging leaders leave a Next Gen retreat, they go back into their communities, they go back into their home, and they spread the light. Because what happens at Next Gen retreat, we crack you wide open. Because we know the light is in there. Sometimes it gets buried. We dust you off and shake you open. And then we see you. We see that needle in the haystack that Gia was singing about. We remind you that it's there. You see it in each other so that you go back to your communities and you see more of it. In my training over the years, I did a lot of training with an incredible woman, Jana Fleming, who was actually taught by the incredible Debbie Ford. A lot of shadow work and inner child work, and I was thinking about that this week. And I thought about this thing that we call the inner child. And I got kind of, I don't know, I didn't like it. I liked where I was going with the ideas, but I didn't like that I was calling it and referring to it as the inner child. So I asked myself, why do we call this thing the inner child? What is this really? And then I realized, as humans, we do our best to make sense of what we can. Sometimes we use words or phrases or associations because it's the best connection we can do to get the neurons to communicate, to make sense of anything and try to communicate it with each other. So what came up for me was we call it the inner child because when we look at children, it's unmistakable. The light. We're in a silent meditation retreat these next 4 days. So you'll see fellow attendees, they have name tags. If their name tag is forward, that means they're open to chat. But their name tag may say, I'm in silence. So please honor their silence. While we're diving deep into this weekend, one of my fellow co-facilitators, Suzanne, she keeps referring to that inner deep place. She keeps talking about the place that's never been violated. The place that's never been damaged. And that resonates for me. I think that's the same thing we mean when we say the inner child, because what we mean is that beautiful magic that we see in the children. The light that we see that hasn't felt guilty, that hasn't felt ashamed, that hasn't felt embarrassed, that hasn't lost a job or failed a loved one. That light is within us. And when we're brave enough to be real with each other, it's always there. You see it, and you see it more and more. And that's what Next Gen is for me. Next Gen is the place where I meet such beautiful souls. I get to see their light. I get to build friendship with them. And I get to be seen. What happens is we were told that we're supposed to go to college, get good grades, and then we're going to get a great job, and then we're going to live happily ever after. That's what they said. I went to school. I got good grades. Went to college. I got the receipt to prove it. But then when you're 26 in this day and age and you've graduated from school, something happens. And they don't talk about it very much. But you get out of school and you're not okay. You're not okay because you think that you're supposed to be something other than what you are. Because you look around and you don't have 2.6 kids, you don't have a white picket fence, you're not earning 7 figures, and you don't have a minivan, not that you want one, but you don't have all these things that they said you were supposed to have. So you think it's your fault. You think something's wrong. And then it gets tricky. I went down that road and I was fortunate enough to find the path. I found what was wrong. What was wrong was that I was apologizing. What was wrong was that I wasn't being authentic. What was wrong is that I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do instead of figuring out who I was, following my light, following my path, authentically expressing recklessly. We set the space for this retreat in a lot of ways in leading up to this time. But we did something special for you. I hope you noticed as you walked in. We wrote on the walls, we wrote on the grounds. We made our mark. Because not only are we here, but we are so in love. We're in love with life. We're in love with each other. We're in love with this community. We're in love with this movement. We're in love with the light. And we're committing to doing our best, to seeing it in ourselves, to seeing it in each other, and to learning what else it means. As a member of the Next Gen community, I had the special honor and privilege of attending the retreat the first year it was re-enlivened. And then I was invited onto the leadership team for the second year, where I've been for a while now. And in that process, I grew. I met the light in myself and in others. I was seen. I was held. I was told for the first time in a very long time that it was okay to be exactly who I was, and that there were gifts in all that I had, even the ugly stuff. Me and my girls, we have this phrase. Sometimes we get a little, not every day is sunshine and roses. Is that just me? Am I the only one that has days that are not sunshine and roses? Anyone else? We call it bees in our bonnet. That's what we call it. If we're having a day, we say, don't mind me, just bees in my bonnet. And we let it go. We let them be. Go ahead, have your bees. I love you anyway. At Next Gen, one of our commitments this weekend is that we will take care of ourselves and we will not take care of each other. And in promising to not take care of each other, we take care of each other in ways that I didn't even know were possible. And in this work, I've met some amazing people. One of them in particular, I've grown very fond of. It's one thing to grow, it's one thing to learn, it's one thing to be told things. It's another thing to feel it. And it's another thing to experience someone whose light is so bright, someone so powerful that they see your light so well that you see it even in their reflection. So at this time, I'd like to invite my beloved friend, fellow practitioner, and ministerial student, Kristen Ashley Moore.
Thank you, Audra. I'm not as good as she is. I need notes. That was beautiful. Thank you. So I'm coming down from the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living, where I'm serving as a practitioner and their youth director while I'm in ministerial school in Santa Rosa. And shout out to Napa Valley. I wanted to start out this morning with a question for you. Have you ever judged someone the second that you saw them? Just immediately, oh, look at that skirt. Can you even call that a skirt? It's barely a handkerchief. Anybody else? Does anybody else do this? Or maybe it's, did she just hit her child on the bottom in the grocery store aisle? Does she know what that does to children? Or the one that I might do the most often, which is the driver in the far left lane going 50 miles an hour in a 65. And then you have to get off your cruise control, and you have to go around them on the wrong direction, the wrong side, and then as you go by, you have to look at them. Who would do that? Anybody else? Is that just me? Because I might need to change career paths if it's just me. But see, it's not our light that's doing that judging, right? It's our ego. Our ego is the one doing the judging. And the reason that the ego is doing this judging is because it's trying to keep us safe. That's the ego's whole job, is to keep us safe. And it thinks it's doing a really good job. And it's keeping us safe in one of two ways. The first way is we judge ourselves. And so we have to look out in the world and we have to find things and people that are inferior to us so that we can feel okay about ourselves. And the other way that the ego judges is because it perceives a threat out there. Because we used to get chased down by big, scary animals. But the reality is that the woman wearing the miniskirt isn't going to chase us down and eat us. We're safe. We're safe. And so we can breathe into that safety and we can remind ourselves, I'm safe. I'm not going to get eaten going to the grocery store. And we can thank our egos for trying so hard. And then we can return to our light. Because when we're judging others, what we're not remembering our own light, and we're not remembering the light that is inherent in every single person, everywhere on this planet. Reverend Sky St. John, the former minister at the Unity of Hawaii, talks about a bowl of light. Everybody is born holding a bowl of light. And they can't get rid of it. It's just there. They're just born holding this bowl of light. Now what they can do is they can pick up rocks and they can put it in their bowl. And these rocks are trauma experiences. These rocks are our family experiences and our childhood and the beliefs that we were given and the way that we were taught in our school systems. And we have these rocks, and it seems like our light isn't there or that our light is dim, but it's not. It's just under rocks. And so all we have to do to return to our light is just turn the bowl over. Just turn the bowl over and dump those rocks out and return to that light. We don't have to pick up each rock and, examine it. We don't have to show it to everybody around us. We don't have to throw it at the person that has triggered us. We just have to dump our bowl out and return to our light. And what we can't know is what somebody else's rocks are in their bowl. I can't know what your past is. I can't know what values were instilled in you as a child or what values weren't instilled in you as a child. I can't know your health. I can't know if the reason that you just snapped at me is because you've been in chronic pain for 20 years and you're just tired. I can't know. And we can't assume that everybody out there has the same knowledge and teaching and training and tools that we do, because we're in science of mind and we are so blessed because this teaching is powerful. It is powerful, and it teaches us how to have lives that are incredible and that work. It gives us tools to handle things that happen and challenges in a way that other people might not have and don't have. And we get to remember that, because I know sometimes I forget. And I wonder why she's behaving that way or why he's doing that. And I have to remind myself, they don't have the tools that I have. And so our jobs are to be gentle with those people out there, and to be gentle with ourselves when we find ourselves in that place, and return to the light. Be gentle and be kind and trust that the light is there. Our job is to let go of all of our judgments and just love, just see the light. And it's easy. It can be easy, right? It's easy when I look at somebody who looks like me and sounds like me and acts like me and dresses like me and has the same values I do. I can see your light. But what about when it's somebody who is so radically different from me that I don't even know how to get into the same book, let alone on the same page? What about when it's somebody whose values that they were raised with are so different that we don't even know what they are? Or their ideas are just wrong according to our minds? Or the way that they live is just unfathomable? What if they're acting in a way that we don't like? What if we're just having a quiet day and they're over there being super loud and having this barbecue and screaming and playing? And or what if the color of the skin is different? What if they dress in a way that we would never, ever consider dressing? We don't even shop in the same stores that those clothes exist in. What about then? What about when that person that you're looking at is so different that you don't know how to get on the same page? That is when we get to be bigger and be better and return to our tools and return to our teaching and return to our training and return to our light so that we can see their light. I have a Rumi quote. Thank you, Suzanne, also. The sun's light looks a little different on this wall than it does on that wall. And it looks a lot different on that wall over there. But it is still the one light. And we get to remember that no matter what, it is still the one light. So there's a social media movement happening right now. It's called #DoGoodRecklessly. And it's, yes, right there, #DoGoodRecklessly. So you can write it down and go add to it if you'd like. And I have a couple of stories just so that you can know what's being posted, what people are saying about this hashtag. And I'm editing a little bit for content because it is social media. So the first story, I was in line at Aldi and this girl with 2 toddlers in front of me had her card declined. And she just looked so sad and said, "Let me call my husband real quick." And it was only $18, so I just paid it. And she was very sweet. And then she walked off, and the lady behind me said, "You know, that was probably a scam, right?" And even if it was, what a sad scam. $18 at Aldi's for some Tyson chicken and apple juice and cauliflower for her children? If that's a scam, just take my money. Or another one. I once paid for a woman's bill at the vet. It wasn't a big one, but she was trying to pay for some medication for her dog, and her card was declined, and her lips started trembling. She says, "I don't get paid till Tuesday. Is he going to be okay until then?" So I just told them to add the 20-something to my bill, and I thought she was going to break down crying right there. And I don't care if it was a scam or not. Just do nice things for people sometimes. Just do nice things for people sometimes. The synonyms for the word reckless include regardless. Just do good regardlessly of what other people say, what your ego's telling you, what's going on, who's there to watch. Just do good hastily, without that second thought. The second that you have that hit, just do good. Wildly throw your good out into the world, rashly, indiscreetly, for everyone you meet, everywhere you go, just do good. Adventuresomely. Get creative with the way that you are putting good out into the world. Because the reality is that you cannot outgive the universe. It is impossible. And so the more and more and more good that you do, the more good that is flowing back to you, and the more good you will be able to do. You cannot outgive the universe. And so I have a challenge for you as we move into 2019. And my challenge is to do good recklessly. Go out and spread your light. Spread it everywhere, in tiny ways, in big ways, to every single person that you meet, regardless of what they look like, or the way that they act, or the way that they're dressed, or whether they deserve it or not. Just do good recklessly. And as you do good recklessly, find the light in every single person that you come across, even if it's hard, even if you have to work at it. Dig down deep in yourself, return to your own light. Find the light in their soul, and do good recklessly. Thank you.
And for you too.
Oh my gosh, both of you just did amazing. Kristen, that was awesome. And with that, I would like to invite Gia back up for her second song.
I left my water up here. What was I thinking? So, when I get asked to sing, a song is divinated. I say that because I hear, I have a certain amount of choices of songs. And even a lot of times before I get given a topic, I can hear a voice, this song. Sometimes I argue with it. Most of the time I don't. And even when I do it anyway. Are you sure? Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. I'm telling you. So, yeah, that's the voice when I listen. So that I'm breaking the fourth wall by telling you that. Because usually I just sit back and go, wow, that was really cool the way that went together. Thanks, Spirit. That was really cool. So you'll understand now with this song what I mean. You with the sweet eyes, don't be discouraged. Oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all. The darkness inside you can make you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors. Like a rainbow. Ooh, show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy. this world makes you crazy and you take it all you can bear, call me up. No, I'll be there. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors, beautiful like a rainbow. Oh, call me up, and you know I'll be there. 'Cause I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, your true colors. Oh, I say your true colors. Yeah, I see your true colors. Yeah. Come on now, purple, yellow, orange, blue. I see 'em inside of you. True colors. Inside of you, inside of me, outside everywhere you wanna see. Don't you see your true colors? Yeah, authentically true colors. Yeah, got to have true color. Don't you know the eyes and we all know 'em. They got to be true colors inside of me, inside of you, inside of me. Oh, true colors. Woo-hoo. Oh, true colors. True colors. Ooh, beautiful like a